The Red Sox are developing a pitching laboratory, and it spans far further than the Garrett Crochet acquisition from last year. Here are some other up-and-coming names who could be joining Crochet in the rotation as mainstays, and this is with the Sox already being top 5 in team ERA last year. We begin with Payton Tolle. This guy reminds me of Andrew Chafin. The build, the presence, the overall aura, the frame of 6'6" and 250 pounds. The guy just screams a Boston Red Sox. The Sox number 2 overall prospect debuted last year and got hit around a little bit. 0-1 with a 6.06 earned run average over 16 innings pitched. He did strike out 19 hitters in that time span, but opposing batters also hit 277 against him. 3 starts, 4 bullpen appearances. I think Boston is still trying to figure out where to plug this guy in long term. For strengths, it has to be the 65 grade fastball, right? It's one of the most obvious answers out there for this guy. That's what Tolley has been flashing since his Wichita State days. It's what got him Big 12 Conference Pitcher of the Year at one point with TCU. And after being drafted in the second round of the 2024 MLB Draft, it's what led the lengthy lefty to going from high A in the spring of this year to throwing pitches at the big league level just months later. For a point of improvement, it's going to be finding something that will consistently supplement that fastball. But he still used it 64% of the time once he made his big league debut. Again, still a pretty small sample size. Everything hangs in pretty tight, but again, one pitch will only get you so far if you'd like to be a starter in this league. Tolley has been described as having a bulldog mentality, meaning he's attacking the zone and going right after hitters. No nibbling at the corners from this guy. It makes sense with his extension, his above-average fastball, and overall intimidating presence. But if a player either A, knows the fastball is coming, or B, notices Tolley is having trouble locating his supplemental pitches, that could be an issue for the southpaw in the future. The guy has technically tried out 5 different pitches. I wonder if the focus becomes having 2 to 3 really good options instead of 4 to 5 okay ones. Let's move on and talk about Kyson Witherspoon, the most raw prospect we will be name dropping in this video, but he's already ranked number 3 in the Boston pipeline without even making his pro debut. Right-handed pitcher, which they need because a lot of their top-end names are lefties. ETA is 2027 despite not even making his pro debut yet, and that's because this kid has the electric fastball and a varied arsenal. Best of both worlds. For strengths, this is a high 90s SEC arm with a lot of tools in his toolbox. The following pitches are at least 60 grade. His fastball, his curveball, his slider, and his cutter. That's almost unheard of to have that highly rated of a 4-pitch mix at this point. You could argue Witherspoon was the most effective SEC arm, considering his strikeout to walk ratio sat at 5.4 this past spring. He fell to 15th overall in this year's draft, and Boston said, thank you very much. If you watch him pitch, another benefit is that it doesn't look like he's exerting a whole lot of effort. The ball just takes off upon release. That's good for 2 reasons. Control being one, which he clearly has so far, and injury prevention. This is a guy who knows his body and is using those big muscle groups to generate power. One can only hope that doesn't lead to elbow or Tommy John issues in the future. For a point of improvement, the swing and miss stuff in college isn't always swing and miss stuff in the majors or even the upper level minors. The slider, the curveball, and cutter are considered nasty, right? They're at least 60 grade each, but when he gets up to double and triple A, if he has to make adjustments to disguise those breaking balls falling out of the zone, how does he adapt? That is yet to be seen, of course. I don't have much more than that. I'm ready to see this guy throw against other professionals. Don't be shocked if he shoots up the ladder rather quickly. We go to Connelly Early next. He's the team's number 4 overall prospect, but he already made his big league debut in 2025, and the kid did his job. Early registered a 1-2 record with a 2.33 earned run average. 29 strikeouts to just 4 walks in just 19 innings of work. Did the games mean anything? Heck yeah, they did. Boston was in a full-on sprint to get into the AL postseason picture. Early even threw in the playoffs against the Yankees. He did take the loss after allowing 3 earned runs over 3 2/3 innings pitched with 6 strikeouts and 1 walk. Unfortunately for him, that was the Cam Schlittler breakout game. For strengths, Early has a little bit of everything. The 23-year-old southpaw has at least a 50 grade with all of his listed pitches, and velocity has been on an upward trajectory as the Red Sox prospect starts to put on some more muscle. It says he was sitting 89 to 91 when he played college ball at Virginia, and he's topping out around 96 miles per hour now. Another strength is truly his command. He's not wild, and you heard me say it earlier, but the guy's had 29 Ks to just 4 walks given up. The 6'3" hurler is in the top 11% for extension, so even if that ball isn't coming in too crazy fast, players technically have less time to react upon his release. And lastly, look at his movement profile. It's beautiful. That's 6 different pitches out of that 31-degree arm angle. When you have 6 pitches and an above-average extension, you don't need the 100-mile-per-hour fastball to have strikeout stuff. For a point of improvement, finding out what that true second pitch is going to be if the fastball isn't on, but that feels like nitpicking. The main thing I'm interested in seeing is how hitters adjust once they get more tape on him. It's like any baseball game, right? The first time through the order is usually a pitcher's most productive. Come around multiple times, especially against those divisional opponents who will be seeing you a handful of times a year, and then we really start to learn about who Connelly Early is. And we wrap up with Jake Bennett, another left-handed pitcher, the number 7 prospect in this system, and Boston just acquired him in a trade from the Nationals earlier this month. Another large frame, 6'6", 234 pounds. For strengths, the changeup is actually his highest graded pitch at 60. It sits mid-80s with plenty of arm side ride. The guy was touching 97 miles an hour with his fastball, so he has the power element if he needs to blow a baseball by somebody. And the control has been good in the past. He didn't walk more than 2 batters in any of his appearances in 2023, but then the elbow flared up the following season. Something to work on, and I'm sure he's doing it, is the innings. He had 63 innings in 2023, was out for all of 2024, and then logged 75 innings just this past summer. If he's going to be a reliever, this isn't an issue. But if Jake Bennett wants to be more than that, I'm curious to see what his recovery program looks like 2 years removed, and he has been a starter in 33 of his 34 Pro Bowl appearances, so that seems to be the intention. The stuff is there. He actually logged a 2.67 earned run average with a 4-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, despite having a 3-11 record in the Nationals pipeline. Look, the Red Sox priorities are clear, right? Get high-octane, above-average extension lefties and find a way to replicate as many Garrett Crochets as humanly possible. In all seriousness, if you do love the Red Sox, if you love baseball, be sure to like and subscribe, and we will catch you in the next video.